and welcome our blog viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. The head of state receives the delegation of the Baka region visiting Djibouti. And in the international scene in the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak nominated to be the new Prime Minister. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, received this morning at the Palace of the Republic the President of the Province of Alb Côte d'Azur, Mr. Renaud Monsieur, and his delegation. The partnership in the areas of research and university expertise, collaboration in the field of decentralization, maritime trade in the level of economic and trade between the region in France and Djibouti have been discussed at length between the President of the Republic and the President of the Southern Region of France. During this audience, the issue of climate change and its consequences in Djibouti, but also in the country of the region, was discussed at length. The president of the province thanked the president for inviting him to participate in the International Summit of Research on Climate Change. He welcomed the preparation of the International Summit of Research and Climate Change, which is an opportunity to address the reasons and the destructive consequences of the countries in the region. The president of the Southern Region in France was at the head of a strong delegation, including Christophe Madrol, advisor to the Regional Council of Province Alpes Côte d'Azur, president of the Biodiversity Commission, and Claude Petit, conseiller to the Alpes Côte d'Azur Regional Council, president of the Energy Transition Commission, Xavier Leroux, president of the University of Toulon, and the ambassador of France in Djibouti, Mrs. Dana Procrussus, also attended the meeting. At the Djiboutian side, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, and the Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, the mayor of, and were all present. The president of the PACA region in southern France indicated in a speech to him that he would participate in the International Summit on Climate Change and the Environment, in response to an invitation he received from His Excellency the President of the Republic. In turn, the Minister of Higher Education and Research confirmed that the organization of the International Summit on Climate and the Environment was an initiative of the President of the Republic, noting that the summit allowed the participants to exchange experiences on climate change and the environment. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training received this morning in his office a courtesy visit from the Kenyan Ambassador auxiliary to Djibouti, His Excellency Mr. Salim. The Minister and the Ambassador took this opportunity to discuss issues of common interest. Among the areas identified, it should be noted that a permanent place was given to vocational training, thus internship opportunities at the end of the training of students in the Arta Hotel School will be set up to allow them to strengthen their skills in a prestigious hotel school in Nairobi. It was also decided to extend the educational cooperation to the training of teachers in the field of hotel management, mechanics, and heavy machinery, among others. A reliable partnership on a student exchange program between the Republic of Djibouti and Kenya was also included in the agenda. Other major component to which special attention will be paid through this initiative is the development of digital education, for which the leadership of Kenya in Africa remains undeniable. The Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, surrounded by his main collaborators, received today a delegation of the University of Côte d'Azur. The meeting was held in the presence of the Director of the Institute of Medical Research, Dr. Fatouma Mohamed Abdul Latif, and Dr. Jalaluddin Mohamed, Director of the CERD. This visit is part of the development of cooperation in the fields of science and research on the seabed. They have discussed at length with the Djiboutian Ministry of Higher Education and Research cooperation in the fields of higher education and scientific research. After a long debate, the director of CERD and the vice president of the University of Côte d'Azur signed a partnership agreement on research and exchange on the seabed in the presence of the director of the Institute of Medical Research, Dr. Fatouma Mohamed, in the field of scientific research. The Sheraton hosted the launch of the Turing Workshop as part of the Digital for Development Regional Collaboration Program, which is part of the Horn of Africa Initiative for Digital Government and Cybersecurity. This event was held under the auspices of the Minister Delegate for Digital Economy and Innovation, Mrs. Mariam Hamadou, and the Head of Cooperation of the European Union Delegation in Djibouti, Mrs. Simona Shelda. This project aims to help the three countries undertake the first strategic institutional, regulatory, and human steps necessary to establish digital government services with the potential for regional harmonization in order to support secure digital services. The action also focuses on strengthening efficient, effective, and sustainable cybersecurity in the region. 10 departments from various Djibouti institutions have been selected to take part in this training, including agents from the Guishi UNIC, CAM, the Ministry of Budget, Health, the Town Hall, the National Assembly, and the Ministry of Labor. The Digital Government Program is the first pillar of the Digital Economy Smart Nation Roadmap. It aims to place a digital government open, inclusive focus on the youth, citizens, business, and government, and train the practices of good governance. This program, which has a total budget of 11 million euros, including 10 million from the European Commission and 1 million from the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, will run for 3 years. The beneficiary countries are Djibouti, Kenya, and Somalia. In her opening speech, the Minister Delegate in charge of the digital economy, Mrs. Mariam Hamadou Ali, said that her ministry will be the partner of all actors to ensure the coherence and implementation of this digitalization project. Tomorrow, the White City, Tajura, will witness the inauguration ceremony of the 34th Sultan of Tajura. In this context, we have prepared a report for you that shed light on the history of the Sultanate Authority. Let's follow.
The Sultanate of Tajura is an ancient political entity, a secular institution in the Horn of Africa that is believed to have been founded in the 15th century. It was located in the northwestern part of the territory that became the Republic of Djibouti in 1977. The Sultanate of Tajura is political and social mode of operation of the Anfar of the Tajura region. For several centuries, to acknowledge the dignity and Burhanu to have featured power alternately as Sultan and his vizier. However, this power lies on the Council of Wise Men representing all the tribes, the Meklis. This site of organization is strengthening cohesion and integration while adapt to different historical situations. For the sake of story, it should be recalled that the enthronement ceremony of the Sultan of Tajura have always taken place on a vacant lot close to the home of the sovereign to be crowned. According to the tradition, it should be remembered that the two drums are immediately buried when a sighting Sultan dies, that are only dug up on the day of the interment of a new Sultan. When it's dug up, they are immediately interested in the member of a specified tribe responsible for watching it. A metal support solid by the time spent underground to make two new drums using the new leader from the two poles slaughtered from the occasion. The interment ceremony will take place this Wednesday, October 26, 2022 in Tajura. The white and in the sense we are witnessing a massive mobilization of all actors involved in the organization of this event of enthronement of the new Sultan of Tajura. This enthronement ceremony arose such a popular craze and such a massive addition in Tajura and its hinterland. During this weeks, the White City hosted several meetings that could bring together all the actors involved in the organization of the ceremony, but also great personality from around the world to participate in a story that's been written by participating this day of interment of a new Sultan of Tajura, a day that has all its meaning for the Anfar, 8,000-year-old people. The previous interment of the Sultan took place in 1885 and under the region of the late Abdulkader Muhammad, who died on Monday 17, 2019. The morning ceremony, which saw the participation of the higher authorities of the country, who together read the Fatiha and paid a vibrant tribute in his memory. After 2 years of mourning, we will attend the ceremony of interment of the 34th new Sultan in the person of Al-Habib Muhammad. Radio Television Djibouti RTD is on the ground and all the technical and human resources are on the ground. A large team of journalists from different sections of Somali, Arabic and French and Tunisian to ensure the beautiful coverage of this event that will mark indelibly the beginning of the 21st century. In all this array of technical structure set up to meet the challenge in optimal condition, there is one that plays a leading role in this dynamic. This is the collective Al Habib Sultan created for the occasion. No detail, however small, has been spared by organizers and participants in this event of great importance for the institution of the Sultanate of Tajora.
Second day of this climate conference, which opened at Kempinski Palace at the heart of this second day to share knowledge and exchange experiences on climate change. A host of intellectuals and researchers who have crossed their vision to environmental issues and new health challenges. These different teams also dealt with the consequences caused by climate change and its effects on agriculture, transport and mobility, energy and the transition to sustainable societies, research response to health crises, prevention and healthy lifestyles. The mission of this crossroads was to stimulate a new vision in order to meet the greatest challenge facing our world, namely climate change. Today, the Horn of Africa is experiencing the most significant effects of climate change of any region in the world, reshaping the security landscape. As part of the implementation of the activities of the National Environment Week, the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development organizes a forum of discussion with youth and women on climate change at the Institute of Diplomatic Studies. This meeting is part of the activities of the Environment Week. The ceremony is chaired by the technical advisor of the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development. The aim was to raise awareness on the themes and ways to conserve the environment and the fight against climate change. The youth and women facing the environment are working their awareness to that they ensure their contribution to implement at the national level. In sum, it was to an inclusive environmental culture citizen. It should be noted that the youth and women must know and understand the issues of environmental conservation and the climate change crisis and acquire sufficient information and skills to raise public awareness to prevent the emergence of new problems. On October 25th, the Technical and Tactical Training Center of Humbuli hosted a ceremony in honor of the male athletes of the Djiboutian Armed Forces who won the silver and bronze medals at the International Arab Competitors of the year 2022. On this occasion, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim himself presided over the ceremony, which also saw the participation of Mr. Saeed Hassan, President of the Djiboutian Athletics Federation, senior officials of the Djiboutian Army, and the commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard. The Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, even before the beginning of the festivities, wanted to congratulate and reward these athletes who have honored and represented with dignity the Djiboutian nation. Let's follow.
اللهم اجعل هذا البلد آمنا مطمئنا وسائر بلاد المسلمين وبشعبنا وبجيراننا سوءا فرد كيدهم في نحورهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفق ولي أمرنا لهداك، وارزق له البطانة الصالحة تعينه على الحق وإلى طريق مستقيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم على سيد الخلق محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الفاتحة.
During this ceremony, the words of welcome on the agenda were presented by the Chief of the Armed Regiment and the Sport Officer of the Djiboutian Army. The President of the Djiboutian Athletics Federation in his speech thanked and congratulated the Djiboutian Army for the special interest it takes in the military and the sport career of young Djiboutian athletes. He also highlighted the scores of Mo Salah and Ahmed Salah, who were beaten by these representatives of the last generation during the cross-country of Grand Barra of the year 2021. Finally, this ceremony will follow around a friendly breakfast in a sincere atmosphere punctuated by the songs of the folk group Harbi before ending the words of dua that was pronounced by Captain Muhammad Amin Muhammad, who implored the help of forgiveness of Allah for all circumstances. Then it ended with a souvenir photo of all participants that immortalized this moment. The 9th General Assembly of Interpol took place from 18 to 2022 October 2022 in New Delhi, India, and saw the participation of delegations from the 195 member countries of this honorable institution, which will celebrate its century next year. Like other member countries, the Republic of Djibouti was represented by a delegation composed of A.C. Abdullah Asoui, Ambassador, Extra-General of the Republic of Djibouti in India, Colonel Omar Hassan, Director of Public Security, and Lieutenant Abdurrahman Daher, Head of the Interpol National Bureau. It should be noted that the opening ceremony of this World Conference on Security was held under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, His Excellency Mr. Narendra Modi. The closing ceremony of the conference was held under the auspices of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of India. The International Criminal Police Organization, better known as Interpol, is the world's largest international organization of the United Nations with 195 members in the General Assembly, which is the world's largest gathering of law enforcement leaders. Interpol's 9th General Assembly in New Delhi has provided an excellent opportunity for the international law enforcement community to examine emerging global trends in both domestic and international crime, and to build conscious on effective strategies to prevent and combat transitional security threats from criminal networks. The topics on the agenda of the International Forum were organized crime, terrorism, illicit trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking and migrant smuggling, financial crime, money laundering, financial scams and corruption, and cyber crime. The management of Djibouti Telecom organized yesterday a technical meeting. This is the part of the project of interconnection of a digital infrastructure between Djibouti and Juba. In the meeting room of Djibouti Telecom, this meeting follows the agreement between the two ministers in charge of ICT telecommunications during the visit of the South Sudanese delegation in Djibouti in September. The objective of this high-level meeting was articulated around the realization and concretization of this joint project of the strategy between Djibouti and Juba through the neighboring countries such as Ethiopia. This project is part of the strategy of the Republic of Djibouti to take advantage of its natural position in technology and logistics. The management of Djibouti Telecom and also the delegations of South Sudan were all present. The third court room of the courthouse hosted today the swearing-in ceremony of 18 auditors of the very first class of the National School of Judicial Studies. The ceremony was attended by the Director of the National School of Judicial Studies, the First President of the Court of Appeal, the Deputy Prosecutor, the lawyers of the court, and the judges of the per section. The new magistrates who were sworn in today will undergo a practical training of 8 months before being able to deal with major causes of justice. At the end of the swearing-in ceremony, the Deputy Attorney General recalled that the new magistrates will be part of the judicial family from now on and indicated his great feelings to welcome them within the judicial family. He also stressed the importance of the oath-taking. It is an important commitment before the Supreme Being and the people. It is also a respect for the laws that govern our country, he said. The director of the National School of Digital Studies shared with us his immense joy to see the first class of the school sworn in before their families and their new colleagues. He first thanked the President of the Republic and the Minister of Justice for the constant support. He then outlined the perspective of the school to train in the profession of magistrates in these various functions by acquiring fundamental skills, the knowledge and know-how, and the interpersonal skills as so to fulfill the expectations of the Djiboutian with an ability to render justice with equity and discriminant. The month of October is internationally recognized as the month of awareness of cybersecurity, and like the world, the Republic of Djibouti is not left behind, and so the National Agency for State Informations, better known as the acronym ANIS, officially launched the first edition of the National Cybersecurity Week. It is in these premises of the City Hall of Djibouti that the first awareness activity on cybersecurity took place, and this in the presence of the Mayor of the City of Djibouti, Mr. Said Daoud Mohammed, the Deputy Mayor, Fatuma Kamil, the Technical Advisor of the Mayor, Mr. Abdurrahman Yassin, the Technical Director of the Mayor's Office, Mr. Usman Abdi, as well as the Presidents of the municipalities. The engineers of NC present then first meeting of awareness by taking the opportunity and provide advice to the actors of the territorial community and encourage them to adopt a new National Cyber Security Week and is contribute to encourage good cyber security. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, officially appointed head of the British government by King Charles III, Rishi Sunak said Tuesday at noon during his speech in front of the 10 Downing Street was to start immediately to repair the mistakes made under Liz Truss. Transfer of power in the United Kingdom the day after his victory in the British Conservative Party, the Sunak met with the King Charles III, who officially appointed him Prime Minister, the third in 2 months in a country plagued by unprecedented instability and a deep social crisis. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for joining us. Take care.